Alright guys, so we're down in, this is Arizona State University's track. Today we're actually at sea level, so although I'm at a camp in Flagstaff, we've came down to sea level. The group's doing a bit of a session later, but I wanted to get an opportunity to test where the fitness is at right now. And the reason that's so important is for two things. Today it's really important because I want to find out roughly where my threshold numbers are, and if you hang around I'm going to explain a bit more about threshold. There's a lot of hype on threshold right now. It is the holy grail of training. It is the best training that you can possibly do, but a lot of the information that you're getting on YouTube or elsewhere, it's not really explaining what you guys can do at home, and then maybe you know how you can incorporate it into your training. So we'll get to that. But the two reasons I'm down at sea level to do some testing is A, to find out roughly where my threshold numbers are, and there's two thresholds, aerobic threshold and anaerobic threshold, and we'll find out both of those today. But B, whenever I race really well, it's when I almost get humbled. I almost want to be humbled today. I want my results to be not poor, but I want a fair reflection. We all sit in this comfortable state. We sit at home, we're comfortable with our fitness, and then you go race and you don't race really well, and it's almost like a kick up the ass to go get to work, get some work done. And so I kind of want to be humbled today. I kind of want to see that you've took 3 months off, you've been surfing in Hawaii, you've been messing about, your fitness ain't where it's supposed to be, and that's going to give me a little kick up the ass to be like, I got to get my ass moving, I got to get training, I got to start getting this done. So I'm going to jump in a bit of a warm-up now, get through some drills, get through some dynamic movement, make sure my body's ready to go, and then I'll do the fitness test. And then once I've shown you a bit of the fitness test, how the results going, I'm going to talk a bit more detail about thresholds and maybe what sort of fitness test you could do at home that you don't need to worry about lactates. You can just use either maybe an RPE in terms of 1 to 10, rate of perceived effort, or if you get a heart rate strap, you can run through a number of paces, jot down your results, and then come back a month later and check again. So check out this session, and at the end I'm going to tell you about that fitness test, how my results go, and talk you through the thresholds. Suppose we should actually do some running. Oh. Big fitness test. I don't know if I want to know the results, but you have to accept it. If you train hard, you get good results. You take 3 months off and surf in Hawaii, you don't get good results. But let's go get warmed up.
So why are we wearing the regular flats instead of super shoes?
It's a good question. I guess so for the 209 build-up, 209 humble brag. In the 209 build-up, I didn't actually wear super shoes until probably the final 2-3 weeks. And so I just kind of want to go back to almost the humbling experience of going back to shoes that aren't helping you. That's A, and the B part of this story is that I think the human body is basically lazy as fuck, and because the human body is lazy as fuck, if you give it an aid, it'll stop doing its job. And so by wearing super shoes, I genuinely believe that the muscles that support running aren't doing their job because the super shoes are doing the job for them, and because of that, come race day, there's no real advantage. And so basically you've give the body an aid, there's no secret, super shoes help the body, but then what the human body has done over time, those little stabilizing muscles, parts of the quads, parts of the hamstrings, parts of the hips, they're not doing their job anymore, so they just get weak. And so I want to go back to non-super shoes so that those parts of my body can get super strong, and then when I put on the super shoes, it'll be like bam, and that's how you run 208.
Prick of the finger.
Yeah.
There we go. Smooth.
That was a reminder that running ain't easy.
Right.
That's 2K at 2.8 pace.
Nice.
There's 40K to go.
The least sexy part of measuring lactate is when the battery's out.
Oh, it's done again.
It's just
It's just battery's just dead.
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
5.2.
Yeah, that's about right.
There you go.
Alright guys, so look, that's a wrap on the fitness test. It was 5 times 2K. It was roughly 7 minutes. Then we went 6:40, 6:30, 6:15, and then about 6:05. That last one was right around sort of what the marathon pace has to be. But here's the results. So the first rep, the lactate was 2.4. The second rep, it was 2.1. The third rep, it was 2.2. The fourth rep, it was 3.4. And the final rep was 5. What's so important here, and threshold is so important, that first rep was very slow, but the lactate already goes up a bit. That's why it's so crucial when you're doing threshold stuff that you do your first rep a bit easier. You can spike the lactate really quickly. You're trying to get your heart rate to go from maybe 110, 120 to 160, 170. It cannot do that instantly. And if you go too quick, you get what's called oxygen debt. Oxygen debt then creates that little spike in lactate. But if you get the paces right, as you've seen in rep 2, rep 3, the lactate actually comes down. Had I gone 6:30, 6:20 in the first rep, because of where my fitness is right now, I would have spiked that lactate to maybe 4 or 5 already. It wouldn't have came back down. Today's not bad, it's not great, but it tells me knowledge, it gives me data for future. It means in 4 or 5 weeks time, I can do a similar session on a track in a controlled environment and see, has the fitness progressed? We want that 5.1 at 6:05 to be under 2. It's gonna take a lot of work to get there, and I mean a lot of work, like serious amounts of work. If you wanna do a fitness test like this at home, take yourself to a controlled environment. I would recommend a track, or I would get a wheel and I would wheel out every 400 meters of roughly either a mile or a 2K. Start at the speed that you do an easy run at. Go super easy. At the end of it, have your average heart rate, your max heart rate, and roughly the effort level out of 10. And then maybe do 3 to 4 more of that, either 1 mile or 2K, and gradually get 10 to 20 seconds per mile quicker, so that maybe your one before your last rep is around about your half marathon pace, and then your last rep can be about your 10K pace. And if you repeat this over 4 to 5 weeks time, every 4 to 5 weeks, repeat the test, you're hopefully gonna see that heart rate come down, and you're also hopefully gonna see that rate of perceived exertion out of 10, i.e. if the first rep is 3 out of 10, you know, your final rep is maybe 9 out of 10, maybe in 5 weeks time or in 10 weeks time, that'll actually come down to a 7. You're holding yourself accountable to get the training done, and you're starting to hold yourself accountable to, am I doing everything I can so that my test in 4 weeks time is a bit better? Then you're gonna have race results linked to these tests, and you're gonna roughly know in future, hey, my test is better than when I ran a PB. That means my next result, my next race result, whether it's 10K, 5K, you can start to think by fact that you're likely gonna race better because that heart rate's lower, you know, you're feeling better, that rate of perceived exertion has came down. Accountability is everything. If you sit in your couch and you're not doing the training and you know you've got that test coming up, you'll get your ass out the door, you'll get the training done. I really want to thank you for joining today. Remember to like, subscribe, comment below if you have any questions on this style of testing. I'm going to go into a lot more detail on aerobic threshold and anaerobic threshold soon. I do have other videos that talk about that. You can check them out. And guys, enjoy running. I had a blast today. It reminded me that running's tough, but I enjoyed it. And so don't take it so seriously. Give yourself a pat on the back for all the hard work you're doing, and well done.